Listen, I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. If you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect time to buy or sell in Florida, that time just showed up. I know, you've heard that before. But here's the difference. The numbers don't lie, and right now they're telling a story that hasn't been this good in years. Stick with me for the next few minutes because what I'm about to share could literally save you thousands, or help you finally make that Florida dream a reality. All right, let's cut through the noise. You've probably been hearing all sorts of things about the Florida housing market, some good, some terrifying. But here's what's actually happening right now in 2026. Florida's housing market is stabilizing, and that's the best news you've heard in a while. Look, I get it. If you're between 30 and 65, you've watched this market do backflips for the past few years. Prices shot up, inventory disappeared, and it felt like every house had 10 offers before the sign even went in the yard. Exhausting, right? But here's what's changed. Mortgage rates are finally coming down. We're looking at rates easing towards 6%, and I know that might not sound like a fantasy number, but compared to where we've been, it's a game changer. The National Association of Realtors is forecasting a 14% increase in existing home sales this year. More buyers can finally afford to make moves. And here's something wild. Every time mortgage rates go down just 1%, say from 7% to 6%, that brings over 6,000 additional buyers per month into the Orlando market alone. That's not just statistics, that's your neighbors, your coworkers, your friends finally getting off the fence. But wait, there's more good news. Remember when you couldn't find a house because inventory was basically non-existent? Well, more homes are hitting the market. Sellers who've been locked in by their low rates are starting to make moves, and that means you actually have options again. Now, why Florida specifically? Let me paint you a picture. Florida is still one of the hottest destinations in the country. In 2024 alone, 27% of people who moved into Florida homes came from another state, and another 5% from abroad. That's not slowing down. People are still flooding here for jobs, lifestyle, sunshine, and no state income tax. If you're thinking about selling, your buyer pool is enormous. There are people from New York, California, and Illinois right now Googling homes for sale in Florida while they're bundled up in their winter coats. If you're thinking about buying, you're competing in a market that's actually normalizing. That feeding frenzy where every property got 15 over-asking offers in 24 hours? That's cooling off. We're moving toward balance, which means you can actually negotiate again. You can do inspections. You can think for more than 5 minutes before making a decision. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, insurance. I know. Florida insurance has been a nightmare, but here's genuinely good news. 17 new insurance companies have entered Florida since the reforms in 2022 and 2023. Premium growth has slowed dramatically. Citizens Property Insurance, the state's insurer of last resort, now holds fewer than 400,000 policies. That means the private market is stabilizing, and you've got more options and better rates. Let's talk about who's actually buying homes right now, because this might surprise you. First-time buyers? They're only about 21% of the market now, and get this, the median age of a first-time buyer has risen to 40 years old. If you're in your late 30s or early 40s, and you're thinking you've missed your chance, you haven't. You're literally the average first-time buyer right now. And here's something interesting. Nearly 1/3 of all transactions are cash buyers. Now, before you panic and think you can't compete, hold on. Yes, Florida's competitive markets attract a lot of cash offers, especially in coastal areas. But that also means if you're a seller, your buyer pool includes serious, qualified people ready to close quickly. If you're a buyer with financing, don't let cash buyers intimidate you. With the right strategy and a good agent, hey there, you can absolutely compete. Sometimes a clean offer with fewer contingencies beats cash. It's all about how you position yourself. Now, I'm going to be straight with you because that's what you deserve. Florida is not experiencing a housing crash. Anyone telling you to wait for prices to drop by 30% is selling you a fantasy, or trying to sell you something else. What we are seeing is a market that's normalizing. That's healthy, that's sustainable. Florida's population growth, job creation, and housing demand remain strong. The foundation of this market is solid. We're not in a bubble that's about to pop. We're in a market that's finding its balance after a few wild years. For buyers, that means you're entering at a point where you have leverage again, where homes might sit on the market for more than 3 days, where you can actually think about your decision. For sellers, this means pricing strategically matters more than ever. The days of throwing any number on the listing and getting it are over, but good homes priced right are still selling, and selling well. Look, here's my final thought. Opportunity doesn't knock with a megaphone. It usually shows up quietly when conditions align and most people are too distracted to notice. Right now, in 2026, Florida's housing market is in one of those alignment moments. Rates are improving, inventory is increasing, insurance is stabilizing, the market is balancing. Whether you're 30 and buying your first home, 45 and upsizing for your growing family, 55 and thinking about that pre-retirement move, or 65 plus and ready to downsize into your dream location, this is your year to make a move.